In the quiet hills of Decorah, Iowa, lived a man unlike anyone around him. His name was Daulton Worst, a bald-headed 39-year-old heavy metal guitarist with a soul forged in distortion and echo. By day, he lived a modest life with his mother and her loyal blue heeler, Indigo, a sharp-eyed dog with a bark that could clear a sidewalk. When the sun shone bright over Decorah's cornfields, Daulton could be found tucked into the back corner of the Decorah Public Library, hunched over his Android tablet, headphones in, binging entitled current story videos on YouTube like they were metal documentaries. He'd smirk or chuckle occasionally, drawing a curious glance from the librarian, but Daulton was content in his strange little world. But behind that calm exterior was a mind constantly churning with riffs, stories, and fire. The root of Thornroot, with no other musicians in town sharing his vision or sound, Daulton created his own one-man project, Thornroot, a drone doom metal band where every note felt like it echoed through the ruins of forgotten castles. The music was slow, sludgy, and devastating. The lyrics? Dark poetry carved from stone and ash. Where the trees bleed oil and the sky weeps rust, my crown is thorn, my throne is dust. His songs explored ancient civilizations lost to myth, cursed forests with voices in the bark, forgotten gods demanding sacrifice, and the crushing isolation of misunderstood genius. Every song felt like it was dredged from the bottom of the earth, smeared in time and pain. Though his audience was niche, the underground metal scene took notice. A Minneapolis-based indie label known for its experimental metal signings picked him up. While the deal wasn't flashy, it gave him a platform and a modest income to keep creating. Yet even with a label behind him, gigs were hard to find. Most nearby bars only hired cover bands, and Daulton refused to play Sweet Home Alabama for tips. So he stayed in his room, dim lights glowing, walls lined with H.P. Lovecraft posters and glowing amps, crafting album after album in solitude. The other side of D-Dab, but music wasn't Daulton's only hustle. He was a crypto investor, dabbling in blockchain like it was an alchemy he almost understood. He ran a YouTube channel where he told original horror stories, his deep voice, and ominous music setting the tone for tales of urban legends, haunted houses, and twisted accoutrements. He even created AI-generated product videos for small businesses trying to survive the online world techwear brands, bookshops, bands like his, and he gamed hard. From Dark Souls to Dead by Daylight, he was a well-known name in a few Discord servers. But still, despite all these digital kingdoms, he craved something real. Dreams of Nightwish and love untouched, Daulton was obsessed with symphonic metal. Nightwish was the altar he worshipped at. Epica, Within Temptation, those bands painted pictures with strings and screams. He dreamed of forming his own group, where cinematic orchestrations met brutal guitars, where operatic vocals told stories of witches, grief, triumph, and ancient magic. But in Decorah, no one got it. No singers. No orchestras. No vision. And then there was loneliness. Decorah wasn't kind to someone like Daulton. Most of the women around him were either chasing family names or money, not riffs or raw emotion. He wanted a soulmate, not a small-town fling. Someone who'd argue over the best Nightwish era, get lost in Halloween nights, and never ask him to cut his hair that no longer grew. The Salem sparked Daulton's favorite movie, Hocus Pocus. He didn't just watch it every October, he collected it. Mugs, figurines, books, coloring books, even rare behind-the-scenes photos. And where was Hocus Pocus filmed? Salem, Massachusetts, a town soaked in Halloween spirit, Gothic architecture, and rich witch trial history. He was a history buff, too. The Salem witch trials fascinated him, how fear shaped society, how stories outlived truth. So one August evening, as the sun set behind his mother's house for what felt like the 1000th time, Daulton made the call. He booked a moving company, hugged his mom, an Indigo tight, and boarded a first-class flight to Boston. From there, it was a blacked out Uber straight to the Hawthorne Hotel in Salem, the historic haunt of writers and ghosts alike. Hawthorne Commons and the Chamber of Song. He signed a lease on a 2-bedroom apartment at Hawthorne Commons. One room became a sanctuary of sound, his studio, gaming space, and editing office. He walked the Hocus Pocus filming sites, visited the cemeteries of Marblehead, soaked up the lore and the fog and the salty wind that kissed the coast, and then, at a Gothic open mic night near the wharf, he met her. Enter Lilith VEGA. Lilith Vega was the name on the flyer, and when she walked on stage in a flowing black dress with a mic in hand, Daulton's world cracked open. She sang Ever Dream by Nightwish, and it felt like every lyric was directed at him. Would you do it with me, heal the scars, and change the stars? After the set, he approached her with reverence. They talked music, gaming, hocus pocus, even their favorite Halloween candy. She wore Sanderson sister earrings. He showed her his matching hoodie. It was magic, dark, thunderous, faded magic. Evermore's End, Symphonic Rebirth. They formed a symphonic metal band called Evermore's, and a name that captured both of their shared love for fantasy, gothic tragedy, and hope beneath darkness. Daulton composed vast orchestral arrangements built on crushing riffs. Lilith wrote lyrics that wove epic tales. The Hollow Crown, about a ghost queen rising from betrayal, Silver Flame. A love song for a cursed priestess, Witchlight Requiem. A requiem for the lost girls of Salem Indigo Skies. A tribute to his mom's dog, Indigo, watching over him. They began playing gigs in Salem, then Boston, then up and down the East Coast. Fans followed. Streams exploded. Their music healed, haunted, and ignited. Ever after, one night under a harvest moon on Halloween, the band played Salem Commons to hundreds of fans, all in costume, all glowing under lanterns. Daulton looked at Lilith mid-song. She smiled with that "we made it" sparkle in her eyes. He thought about the lonely library days, the cover bands he turned down, the night flights of doom metal in his childhood bedroom, and he knew. He had found everything he ever wanted. Daulton Worst, bald-headed metal alchemist, lover of witches and riffs, finally found his kingdom and his queen in Salem, and they screamed their happily ever after.